Good morning. It is Friday, May 9th. Yes, it's always kind of difficult to figure out what day it is. I don't know why. So I just finished a book called The White Queen. It's by Philippa Gregory. And the book was okay. You know, it's a decent historical romance for those of you who are interested in it. But I think what's more interesting is the history behind it. So it's about Elizabeth Woodville, and she is basically Henry VIII's grandmother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because her daughter, Elizabeth of York, married Henry VII, Henry Tudor, who is Henry VIII's father.
Interesting.
I think that's how it works. So she's related to like Henry VIII and Elizabeth I and all those. But it's interesting because so it's during the whole War of the Roses, you know? You don't know?
No.
The Lancasters versus the Yorks. And I told you a little bit of it.
That's the only reason I know what this is, because you've told me about
and I am definitely no history buff. Like, don't listen to me. Like, I'm just... But, so yeah, the Lancasters versus the Yorks. She married Edward. Her family was a Lancastrian family, but then she fell in love with Edward V, Edward something. One of the earlier on Edwards. So she married him, and they married for love, according to this book. They really did. She was really beautiful, though, so historically, she was very beautiful. So he could have married her for love. But anyways, so they married, and then after his death, her son, who was 12 at the time, Edward V. So that made her husband the fourth. Yes. So Edward V, her son, who was 12 at the time, becomes king. But because he's only 12, he needs a protector. And so Edward IV, before he died, he named his younger brother, Richard III, the protector. Richard wasn't the third then. But anyways, Richard, of course, then says that Edward's marriage to Elizabeth was not legal. Therefore, all of their children are illegitimate, and then they cannot take the throne. So Richard takes the throne for himself, and her two sons, Edward and Richard, I don't know why they use the same names over and over again. It makes it so difficult to kind of like keep together.
Talk about it.
And talk about it, and like try to give you some history, but they all have the same names. So her two boys, Little Edward and Little Richard, 12 and 9, are in... Dang it.
Now this is getting interesting.
He's that old? He was born in 1400 something?
Wow.
Anyways, so they get stuck in a tower, and then Richard takes the throne, and then rumors start circulating that the princes are dead, like they're murdered. But Richard III says he didn't do it, and then it could have been the Duke of Buckingham, because Margaret Beaufort, who was supposedly on Elizabeth's side trying to get her sons back up, she has a son named Henry Tudor. Oh, I thought it was going to sink in for you, like, oh.
Yeah, it did. That's why I said dun dun.
Oh, okay. But anyways, so she has a son, Henry Tudor, who she wants to put on the throne. So it could have been her and the Duke of Buckingham conspiring together to murder those two boys. Historically, they have no idea what happened to the boys because the bodies never were found. Nobody confessed to it. Everything was just rumors, so they just disappeared. So it's a big mystery still.
So this whole thing sounds like Game of Thrones.
Right?
And even the names, but I guess the names are reused all the time anyways. But there's Eddard, you know, Stark. I know, Eddard and Edward. And then there's the Lannisters, which sound like the Lancasters. And then all the
Stark
deceit
and York.
and the two kids, the two boys who go disappear, and people say that they're dead.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah, this whole time you talk about it, I was like, wow, but I see a lot of parallels to Song of Fire and Ice.
George R.R. Martin is a hack.
He's just reusing good material.
Yes. And it's interesting because there's magic in this story as well. Elizabeth Woodville's mother was tried for witchcraft.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's because they come from a line of Burgundies from France. And the Burgundies say that they are descendants from the goddess Melusina, who is a mermaid. She's half woman, half fish. Mm-hmm.
Like Melisandre.
What? But she's not a mermaid.
No, but still goddess.
She's not a goddess either. She's just a priestess.
But parallels.
She's the red woman.
Yeah.
But anyways,
And the color burgundy.
he's red too. So thank you for watching. If you like us, please hit like. Please hit subscribe. I'm not gonna say please hit that because Ryan doesn't like it. He doesn't think it's appropriate. It probably isn't. And we're a kid-friendly show.
Bye.